To finish your frame, you can either paint it whatever color you would like. You can use spray paint, chalk paint, acrylic paint, whatever you have on hand. Or if you want the look of stain, you can't use stain on MDF, but you can use a dark finishing wax, which gives the look of stained wood. Be sure to let it dry, wipe off any excess, especially around the inside ring, before you apply it to your finished applique work. Once you make sure all the excess is wiped off, now it is time to frame our work. Lay the solid oval on your work to make sure it's lined up where you want it. Flip it over, take a look. You can kind of see the outline through your work. Make sure it's lined up. And then you're going to flip it back over, use your heat erase pen, and trace along the outside edge. Now you're going to cut off the excess, but leave about an inch from that line. You don't want to cut right on the line. Be sure you don't do that. Next, I'm going to use a basting spray. It is an adhesive that will hold your work in place and it won't ever bubble on the frame. So go ahead, spray the wood with your basting spray, or you can use a spray glue, that will work too. Then you're going to apply your work. Now, I like a temporary spray because you can move it around if you don't get the placement exactly right. Make sure it's where you want it. Make sure your lines match up. Flip it over. Look at the lines you drew on the back. That will help be your guide here. Next, before I put anything together and glue anything, I test it. I put the frame right on to make sure that I like it. Now, this is going to be a bit of a snugger fit, and you have to make sure the oval is in the right place. So just play with it. It will fit, I promise. Once you are happy with your placement, then you're going to cut off that excess felt. You're just going to use your scissors, cut slowly along the outside edge, and just trim off the excess. Don't worry, there is room for a little bit of bulk inside the frame. We did add a piece that will help with this. So it doesn't have to be perfect, but go ahead and trim off the excess here. Place the cap on the bottle of glue that was sent with your kit. This is what is going to open up that tube of glue for you. So go ahead, once that's on there, it'll automatically start coming out. So squeeze your tube and just put dots around that outside edge. You don't need a lot of glue here. Use it sparingly. You don't want it to squeeze out the ends either. So line up the spacer on the backer. Now, just make sure your outer edges, all the scallops are lined up. I would recommend before you put the glue down to just test it to make sure you have it in the right position. That will help make sure it's lined up when you glue it down. Once that part is dry, which only takes about a minute, then you're going to add more glue on top of the spacer and then some glue throughout the center of the backer piece as well. Then you're going to place your final piece right on the top. Again, make sure your tops and bottoms line up. Make sure everything is aligned properly, and you're going to just set it down, go along the edges, make sure there's no gaps or spaces or anything like that. Make sure it's all evenly placed. Press it down gently. You don't have to press hard here. Let it dry. And that's it, you guys. You get to hang it on the wall and admire your finished work. Be sure to follow us here on YouTube. Also check out our Instagram and TikTok.